Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Torey, and today I wanted to share how I go about adding mini spreads in my bullet journal. I do my bullet journal daily planning, just as like a daily log. So sometimes when I have memories that I really want to include in my journal, I will just leave a blank space like I did here and just add some memory spreads in. So for the photos that I will be using for today's little spread here, I'm going to be using my Canon Ivy photo printer, my mini printer. I did also show a printable that I got off of Etsy of like some graph paper that I really liked. I printed that on just regular printer paper so that it's super thin. And I wanted that so that I could crumble it up and it look really nice, but I also wanted it to not add too much bulk to my bullet journal because obviously I need to be like in here writing things every day. So I am going to just tear off some of the corners of this graph paper here, and I will link this down in the description box below if you're interested in checking it out. I really like it. And I have a feeling that it will become a staple in some of like my junk journaling or just creative journaling endeavors, just because I'm a fan of graph paper. So like I said, I'm just going to pull off the corners of each of this, well, not each of, but the corners of the sides of this paper. And then I also have some torn book pages. I think these are real book pages. I had placed an Etsy order from Savannah Scribbles here on YouTube, and she includes all these papers, like these torn book papers, as like packaging filling, and I was obsessed with that. And because I'm me, I usually, if like packaging from orders is like aesthetic or I really like it, I will keep it and use it. So I have not thrown any of these out. And I have been just using them in my creative journaling or junk journaling or whatever have you. And I will be using them here again today as part of my memory spread. So I have printed out 3 photos from a recent trip that I took to Georgia with one of my really good friends. We went up to Georgia to see kind of quote unquote Mystic Falls from the Vampire Diaries because we both love that show. And I have a ton of photos from this little mini trip that we went on. So I'm planning to make a whole mini book, like a mini traveler's notebook, I think, to document the whole trip. But I also really wanted to have like just a nice little nostalgic page in my bullet journal, which is what we are doing right now. But if you're interested in seeing the rest of the photos from this trip, definitely stay tuned because I will have a video up on my channel eventually, getting an album set up for that as well. Because like I said, it was a good time. So I really want to document that trip. So I've placed my corner pieces down and now I'm just putting the torn book pages right in the middle of my spread. And I have a couple of wooden stamps that I got from Cheery Letters on Instagram. I will have this linked down below, or at least the Instagram shop linked down below if you want to check them out. And I'm just adding some kind of visual interest stamps around my spread so that it has a little bit more visual interest, obviously. And then I will work on laying out my photos again. I printed out 3 photos and I, at this point, was like, maybe I printed out too many, but I really liked all 3 of these photos. So what I decided to do was for the photo of myself and my friend Brooke at the Mystic Falls, Virginia sign, I'm just going to trim and fussy cut around us so that that particular photo does not take up as much room, especially since for that photo, the building that was behind us is like not super cute. So it was fine for me to cut that off. So I just kind of fussy cut it around us, and I will be still struggling to place this one down. This is actually going to be the last photo that I place down. And then the other 2 photos, I will know immediately where I want those to go. So I will finish cutting this out and then just kind of move on to my other photos because I'm just not sure. I'm not sure where I want that one to go yet. I will place the first photo of both myself and my friend at the top left-hand corner. That photo was actually taken while we were on a ghost tour, and I am a huge chicken. I'm so scared, especially when it comes to paranormal things. So what I'm going to do for that photo is I'm going to put like a little heading next to it that says a ghost tour. Who am I? Because like, who am I? Because I do not do ghosts. And then the bottom photo is the pancakes that Damon in the series, the Vampire Diaries series, makes Bonnie when they're stuck on like the other side. And the Mystic Grill that is located in Georgia makes these on Sunday for brunch. So before we left for the weekend, we definitely stopped in there and got some of these little vampire pancakes, which were so cute and so delicious. So that was exciting. And then on that photo, I added my little kind of header that just says Bon Appetit, because that's generally what Damon says to Bonnie in the show. And I'm using my Tombow Furunosuke pen here, my hard tip pen, I believe, to just add, like I said, a little title for each photo. So I've got my ghost tour, then the Bon Appetit. I'm going to place now my Mystic Falls, Virginia sign down, and I'm going to decide finally to put it towards the bottom. And that space between our legs, I'm actually going to stamp the dates. I don't do that on camera, but I felt like that would be the perfect place to put the dates that we were away. And it worked out really well. And then for that particular sign, I just added a little title that said doing all of the touristy things. There's a nice big white space on the top right-hand portion of my spread. I will add just a little bit of journaling. Like I said, since I'm going to be doing a whole mini album or a mini traveler's notebook of this trip, I'm not going super in depth with any of the journaling or anything like that I'm doing on this. I just wanted to have a fun page to be able to flip back to, or when I'm flipping through my bullet journal, to kind of remind me of this weekend because I had such a great time. I also have a little bit of space underneath the ghost tour like header, and I'm thinking I might go back in there a little bit later on and just add another sentence or two about that, since it is so unlike me to do something like that because I am such a chicken. While we were up in Covington, Georgia, that's where all of this is, the Mystic Falls sign, all of the Vampire Diaries stuff, and the Mystic Grill. We went to one of the shops and they had a whole bunch of like Vampire Diaries themed scrapbooking supplies. So that's what I've just pulled out here. And I'm going to pull a couple of those elements from this little tiny pack right here to just add as kind of some more visual interest to my spread. The little tiny photo of Catherine Pierce is the perfect size for my spread, but everything else was a little bit too big. But I noticed that the back of the packaging had examples of all of the photos and pieces that were included, and also had smaller versions of each of them as well. So what I'm going to do is just cut another photo from the back of the packaging and use that instead of the larger version, which I'll probably end up using in my mini traveler's notebook album. I actually cut quite a bit of these off since I had already started cutting it up after I finished this video to save for a later time as well. I really liked this banner to add that, but it blended too well or too closely into the pancake photo. So I ultimately decided not to use that one and to just use this photo that Klaus drew for Caroline and have that diagonal from the Catherine Pierce photo. Overall, like, I am kind of obsessed with this little memory spread, and it's so fun. I find it just so fun to have these sprinkled throughout my journal, especially when I'm going through and just kind of flipping back through, which I do often, especially while I'm using the journals. I think it's a great way to just spark some memories. Well, that's all I have for you today. I would love to know your thoughts down in the comments below. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and I hope to see you in my next video. Bye!